right, new filming location, maybe still a bit echo. If you didn't see my video earlier this week, I am in my new house, in my new office, still getting things on the walls, but my books are on the shelf, so we can film a TBR in front of them, which is exciting. And this TBR was really interesting, difficult to put together, because I don't know what I want to read. And I don't know what my intentions are from the year. So I don't have goals yet. It's quite a struggle. But I do have a few obligation reads that we'll start with, and then we'll go with what I think I want to do, with the caveat that anything could change on a dime. And I'm trying to think, I don't know what my goals are yet. My goals video will be next week on Tuesday, presumably. And I think part of that is I want to make sure I'm still always just changing up how many genres I have in each month. I don't want it to be all one thing. I don't think that works very well for me. And I want to make sure I'm always at least trying to let myself reach for things that are fun. Because something I think I learned in 2023 is I don't actually mind reading okay things so long as I find great things somewhere along the way. So increasing my probability of finding a great thing while also still probing the hidden gem discovery space of I don't know if this book would work for me. So I think I have found that balance on this TBR. Starting with the Patreon buddy read. So the way Patreon buddy reads are working this year is we have each quarter, we're going to have a standalone book, we're going to have a short story collection or anthology, and we're going to have a series that we are reading. And so the standalone book will take a month or two to read, and then we'll discuss it on a live show, or I'll do a spoiler video, however it works out. It depends on how many people participate and things like that. And so that's going to be The Deep Sky. I have to remember to point this way because I have changed how I filmed, which is also messing with my head because I wanted this to be the display because look how pretty all these books are. Look how pretty they all are. I was very proud of putting this together. If you are a Patreon, there's a whole live show of me going through this process. It's an hour and a half of me organizing my shelves. Anyways, The Deep Sky. I think this is a sci-fi deep space thriller sort of thing. It reminded me a little bit, only a little bit, of Do You Dream of Terror 2 in that there is this competitive schooling thing that selected individuals who went on this ship and we have to go because presumably we've messed up Earth or something like that. And then the plot of the book is something goes down. I think someone gets killed, something like that. Someone sabotage. Something's happening. It's someone on the ship. It's that type of isolated, claustrophobic type of space thriller that I watch a lot of, don't read as much of. So I'm curious about reading it. I love the cover, but it has had middling to mixed reviews, so I'm a little nervous about that, just a smidge. But hopefully it'll at least be good conversation, and it's a standalone, I think. Let's hope it's a standalone. So yeah, and briefly, I guess, if you want to know about future picks, I think we're going to be reading Never Whistle at Night. I think that's the name of the anthology by Indigenous authors. And then I think it's going to be the Burning Kingdoms trilogy that we will be reading. Although I think I'm also going to just have, I also think Terra Ignota is just going to happen at the same time because I want it to happen. I want both. So I can make both happen. So that's what's going to happen there. Okay, so that's one obligation read. And then the other one I have is Jess Owens, if you didn't know, is reviving her book Community Read, which I used to be just always around. I was always an unofficial, official co-host. And so that's coming back. I'm sure there'll be other people on the live show as well. I don't think we have them lined up, but we're reading Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis. I've never read Angela Davis. I have a different nonfiction by her in my physical TBR. It's something about prison reform, I believe. So I'm excited this will give me the push to finally read it. It's definitely very topical. If you haven't been paying attention to things in the world right now, it's a time. It's a time. But I'm excited to read this, talk about this. I always love the discussions that we have for book community reads. So, and it's a short one. Pretty sure it's fairly short and it's fairly easy, I think, to get from most libraries. At least I was able to get mine from my library today instantly. So those are my two obligations, and everything else, like I said, I'm trying to pull from different genres. I'm trying to pull from what makes me feel joy. So I guess there's one more obligation, but I kind of want to as well. So this is for funsies. Well, the one I'm I don't know why I'm not excited to do it, but I should be, and this is Arcanum Unbounded. I have not reread this in years. There are short stories in here that I read back before there was a bound up version. And I should reread them. And I think they'd be fun. I like short stories. And I've been wanting to reread Emperor's Soul for ever, and that's in there. But I keep dragging my feet. And we're supposed to discuss it, I think, on Roger's channel? Maybe? I don't know. It's for Roger's Cosmere read-along, where we've just been rereading Cosmere books. So I should get to that, hypothetically. But the one that I am, starting to feel, nostalgic, ooh, I'm ready to, sit down and slowly reread this, and that is The Way of Kings. This would be my 5th time, because I have read it every time a new release has come out. And this is the 5th book, so here we go. And what actually is really nice is, so I first read in 2010 when I lived in my hometown, and I moved back to my hometown. So there's some nice full circle synergy going on there. And yeah, I think this will be a nice comfort reread for me. You know, I know all the beats. I think I might treat myself to the audiobook as well, because I do like the audiobooks for this, even though sometimes they Michael Kramer and Kate Redding use the voices that they used in Wheel of Time, so sometimes I get like, because that was a whole experience. But I really liked the Oathbringer audiobook, so that's a thing. So that's my last obligation. And now the rest are like, I'm doing this because I want to, and I think it's going to be exciting. So one, I've actually already started. I just don't foresee myself finishing it before the end of the year, and that's okay. Like, there's a part of me, right? There's a part of me that's just like, you gotta finish everything before the new year. Why? It's arbitrary. Don't do that to yourself. I'm liking this book, but it's taking a little bit slower. I'm in holiday reading mode, and this is not a holiday reading mode book, so like, we're just gonna move on, and this is War Child. I finally picked it up, guys. I picked it up by Karen Lawachi, and I'm really liking it. It's just heavy. It's just heavy, and it's dark, and I want to read a fluffy romance right now, so it's just not happening on December 28th. This is really good. So far, I can say that it starts with this kid, Joss, and I think full name's Jocelyn, but we call them Joss. And their space, so like they lived on a spaceship with their family, like a whole community. It was like a merchant ship. And they got boarded by pirates, and everyone was killed, but the kids were stolen, and then it's following his path after this. And it's dark. It's very dark. I like the writing a lot, though. I really like that the first part, because of how dark the content was written in the second person. I'm in part 2 right now, which is a little lighter. It's more about recovery, which I really enjoy. So very excited to read this trilogy. It has new covers for paperback, so I might consider purchasing them physically, but also they're on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. So that's something that I've been excited about, and keeping with the sci-fi theme, I will do it because I want to be happy. I want to read the Vor game because like I love Bejeweled, and I just have not read a Bejeweled since the summer, since June. Is that right? Has it been since June? I don't know. It's June or July, I think. So I need to change that. I actually already purchased the Kindle book so that I have no excuse, because the Kindles are not available at like any public library, and the physical ones are kind of hard to get. And I'm not a big audiobook person for this series. I love Bejeweled's words in my head. I really enjoy them. So I'm going to be reading that because, again, I'm trying to, put joy on the list. I want to be excited, and this excites me. Similarly, I compare these two authors all the time. T. Kingfisher. Now, which one will I read? I currently have on my physical TBR the short story collection, The Jackalope Wives, or something like that. So I could read that, but I've also been wanting to start The Clockwork Boys for a while. So I don't know which one of those. We will just have this be the T. Kingfisher spot. Because again, T. Kingfisher's writing brings me joy, makes me excited to read. These are the type of things I want to infuse in my life, especially because I will be starting a new teaching job halfway to the end of the month, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of stresses, so it would be nice to not have to overwork for that. Now, that said, we say I don't want to work. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it. It's going on this TBR. It's at least getting started in January. Reaper's Gale. One of my big, in my own head goals is to at least continue Malazan this year, if not finish it. And I'm trying really hard not to just start over. What I'm actually doing right now, before I even started filming this, is Jimmy at Jimmy Nuts. Is that his channel name? No, the Fantasy Network. He has Chatting with Nuts. I'm sure if you follow me, you follow him. But he had these long discussions about each book as he was reading it a few years ago. And I was able to watch the House of Chains live show because I had finished it at the same time, but then I fell behind because life was busy, dissertations, etc. So I want to watch his House of Chains again, Midnight Tides, and Bone Hunters videos to remind myself what happened in those books, and then go into Reaper's Gale. And I think that'll be enough of a refresher where I don't reread the beginning part again, because I cannot just reread these first 6 tomes. That's not happening. So yeah, I think that's like my challenge, because I think my reading life is interesting because I want to just have a fun time and I want to just not work too hard, but I also want to be challenged, and I think I'm struggling to find that balance. But I think the fact that this and War Child are like my challenging reads of the month will be good, especially since War Child's not that long. It's more the content that's challenging. And then the last thing I put on my list, because I do want to diversify some genre space, and like we got sci-fi and we got fantasy on here, we have a nonfiction, so it's not horrible, but I wanted to put like a straight horror on here, and so I'm going to put Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones because I loved My House is a Chainsaw. And I bought this book recently, and the serotonin of seeing the book that I want to read, yeah, I just want to do that. And the third book comes out soon. So it seems to math. The math is mathing in my head. So that's what we're going to do. So first TBR of the year feels attainable. It seems to, I think, encompass what I want my reading to be like right now. And I will just pivot if I have to. I will. Don't worry. I'll do that. Because I don't think I have huge reading plans this month or anything like that. It's not like last January where I was reading a bunch of young adult books. So there's at least that. I do think I'm excited about everything. The only thing I'm a little bit apprehensive about is The Deep Sky. And for some reason, I just don't want to read Arcanum Unbounded, but I should, because by the end of the year, I'm going to want to know all the little Easter eggs in that before we get the 5th Stormlight book. Like, I'm just going to want to know. So I don't know why I'm dragging my feet on that, but it is what it is. Let me know how you are starting out your reading year. Do you have any goals that you're already diving into? Are you just mood reading? How is it going for you? For me, I'm trying not to get too into the hype of new year, start fresh. Just kind of, I don't know, gradually sink into new changes, I think is how I want to do it. If you wanted to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, I don't know, leave a cloud, because we got Gale, we got the deep sky. I don't know, clouds seem right. It's very cloudy outside this week. It's been bonkers humid and warm this week in Cleveland. Like, it's just wild. The fog yesterday, I felt like I was in a horror movie. It was wild. Anyways, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.